No such thing as it's oversaturated. I am telling you today to go apply for that degree. You are afraid of doing that LLB degree because you are 28 and in 4 years time you will be 32. What you don't know is whether you do that degree or not in 2020 or in 2021, in 4 years time you will still be 32, you know. So go for it. Hey Ramz Club, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I go by the name Ramz, your girl, rich gang. And today I want to talk about a very different topic, like why I became a law student. I feel like it's been a long delayed conversation, but I think I was not yet ready to allow people in that space of my life. When it comes to my personal life, I'm very sensitive and I'm very cautious because I figured that people on social media always have this habit of, you know, whenever you guys have a disagreement of something, they just attack you with what you do, your profession, your career, what you're trying to venture into and whatever. And it's just something that I've always tried to conceal from everyone. However, I just feel like it defeats the purpose of this channel because on my banner it does say law student life, beauty books, blah blah blah, and I've been talking about beauty, I've been doing other things, but I haven't been talking about school. So what's the point? I want to talk about that. I want to talk about why I want to be a star girl one day. But I think back in 2016 I was doing my matric, and in 2015 it was my grade 11, but I had not really applied for anything. I did not apply because my marks weren't as amazing then or perfect or whatever. So I decided to apply the next year. This was in September, yes, if I remember correctly. Okay, fine. So come January, it's time for my matric results to come out. Okay, cool, they do. So now I'm shook because my matric marks weren't as awesome as I expected them to be. I got a diploma. I literally missed the mark with like 2 marks, guys, and I swear to God, it was a mark or 2 marks, but I was this close to getting a bachelor's degree. Obviously, I was very heartbroken. I think if there's one thing that broke my heart in life, it was definitely my matric results. More especially because I was working so hard during the last 2 semesters that I had expected something. I even got tourism learner of the year that particular year, but you know, yeah, I was just so shook. Like, guys, I cried. I remember crying. Like, you know what? Whenever I think about how I cried that day, it makes me wake up in the middle of the night and just study because it hurt. It was not a nice feeling. It was terrible. Anyway, moving on. So what I had initially applied for at Unisa and at UJ was clinical psychology. I wanted to become a clinical psychology before anything. And law was honestly really my alternative. It was just if life doesn't go according to plan, I never saw myself like as a law student. Maybe apart from the days where we would walk by Paul Kruger by High Court, because Langis and town is like not really far apart. Now that's the only times I always saw myself as a lawyer, but apart from that, nah, it was really not part of my agenda. And little did I know, like every single day whenever my friends and I would speak, I see myself pushing that trolley. Jokingly, I was manifesting my life, Cool. So fine. My matric results came. I was heartbroken. I got over it though. The next day I decided, you know what, Monday we're grand, let's go to school and let's hear what they have to say. So when I get to Unisa, they're like to me, unfortunately, due to your matric results, you don't qualify for a bachelor's degree in clinical psychology. However, you can do a high certificate in clinical psychology. How the Unisa system works is that if you don't qualify for something, let's say you don't qualify for medicine, just an example. Okay, in my case, I didn't qualify for clinical psychology. They give you a high certificate of that particular field, So then they gave me 2 options because law was my alternative. They gave me a high certificate in law and a high certificate in archives, records, and management. Cool. So fine. I chose archives and records. I remember very vividly. I chose archives, records, and management at home, but I just didn't understand what it was about. I remember telling my mom, I feel like this is not as challenging as I want it to be, so I think I want to take the high certificate in law. I just felt like maybe the words just bored me. Like, they really bored me. Like, honestly speaking, it was just that the words bored me, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do this. I want to do law. I think law's just going to be more challenging for me, you know. And it's just what happened that particular day. So I registered in the morning, and in the afternoon I had changed to law. Cool. I think about a day or two later, my study material came, and that's how my law journey began. It was a very huge transition because coming from high school to Unisa, and you know, being an open distant learning student was very hard at first. I think the first month or two, like, it took a, a bit of time for me to adjust, but fortunately for me, I met a guy at school, and he's still my best friend today, and he helped me throughout the entire journey. He was doing third year that time, and I was doing my first year. I didn't have certain study material, and he gave it to me, and you know, he carried me through the entire journey of how to adjust and everything. And within like 2 months or so, I had adapted, you know. So basically, how a higher certificate works is that it's sort of like it acts like a bridging course where you're gonna do 10 modules from your diploma in law and your degree in law. The concept behind it is that you're going to study like 10 modules, and then they're going to credit you 5 modules in your LLB degree, and then this 5 just goes to waste. It's just sort of like a penalty, I suppose, that you just pay, you know. Unfortunately for me, the next year, this was in 2017, I passed like 9 modules, and then I failed this particular module. I remember a skills course. Skills course, and we thought about skills course. Skills course is not an easy module. So come January 2018, this is the time I'm supposed to be accepted for my LLB. Now, because I was meant to complete this one module, usually at Unisa, when you're in your final year, they give you an FI concession. FI concession is reserved like for final years. When you're in final year, or maybe feel like you left with one module, they give you an FI concession. So now, the issue with the FI concession is that it was meant to come out in like January, February, like the end of January, the beginning of February. Registration was also closing around about that time, you know, so it sort of complicated everything. Cool. Now I email the lectures, I go back and forth, you know, emailing them to send me the concession, until I physically went to some lectures in Brooklyn to ask for it, because my time is being delayed, and if I don't do it during this particular time, I'm not gonna get an admittance to my LLB. Unfortunately for me, that didn't go according to plan as well, and now I had to wait for my concession to come, which means now that the registration for the LLB is going to close. And what does that mean? If that closes, I have to sit at home for 6 months. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. There is no way in hell I'm doing that. So fine, I tell my mom, you know what, instead of just waiting, let me do my diploma in law and do modules. Actually, some guy recommended, like Romeo, he was helping me at school, and he was like, you know what, no, take a diploma in law, and then take modules that are of LLB, do them for 6 months, and once they accept you after June, like second semester, you will then get credited for that, you know. Cool. Okay, I did that for 6 months. Eventually, my concession results came. I passed. I got my high certificate in absentia. Fine, great news, hallelujah, thank God. And then when June came, I finally managed to apply for my LLB. Did I? Yeah. Yes, I finally managed. No, I think I'm lying. I think I managed. No. I think. But anyway, that's not the point. Eventually, I got admission into LLB, and they credited all the modules from behind. So when I got into LLB, I think I had about 14 or 15 modules completed already, and then yes, I started that way. And that's how I got admission to LLB. Honestly speaking, at the beginning, it was a bit weird, but because, you know, I had told myself I want something challenging, I was willing to challenge my mind as well. I was willing to take on the journey of doing something that's completely different. And just like an arranged marriage, I eventually fell in love with LLB. Like, this is me. This is personally me, you know? And also, I think it aligned with most of my character traits. I mean, of course, at some point I had, you know, the options to actually venture out of law. I mean, I was really not obligated to. I was not forced to do it, you know. But I think the main reasons why I stayed and why I'm doing law now is because it aligns with my purpose. In a sense that I have always been the voice of reason amongst my friends. Like, growing up, that has always been me. I've always been the person to speak out for people, get in actual fights with people. I remember in primary, I got into a fight with my principal because they told, you know, our project or something, but not a physical fight per se, but I stood up for my group. I was like, it's not fair, you know? So I felt like maybe it's high time for me to actually, you know, channel that energy towards, you know, fighting for people's rights in reality and making sure that people get what is right for them, you know, justice the way it's meant to be. I also grew up in a household of which, I don't want to be too personal, but let's just say I want to be more about women empowerment and standing up for women, GBV and all of that. Nothing personal, let's not divulge into that, but yes, it's just the things that I want to you know, fight for one day. So if law aligns with the purpose, in a sense that you've always been about giving back and serving the people, fighting for social injustices and whatever, then I really think law is for you. Another reason, which I really should have put at number one because I think it's the most important, I think law helps you expand your knowledge horizon. What I mean by this is that you get to understand how things are in a particular like country, why people do the things they do, and how, you know, those changes affect everyone as a whole, you know. What is so special about the law and what separates it from other professions is that as a lawyer, you know, when you have an LLB degree, it is so much more easier for you to actually challenge certain decisions that are made in a country, to understand the reasons behind certain decisions in depth. You know, you have the power to go and appeal a particular law, but this is if you are an admitted attorney or an advocate or whatever. But you know, it gives you a much more advantage as opposed to a person that's in another profession. So which I really think is what makes an LLB degree special. This is me, in my opinion. My third reason why I'm still in law is because I have always, like anybody that knows me knows this, I'm the most unbiased person, the most non-judgmental person in the world, and I've always lived by the Audi Alteram Partem rule. My law students will know what I mean. But anyway, basically what that means is that I've always been a person that allows people to say their side of the story, you know. I don't take sides, I don't criticize, I don't go in emotions in certain situations. It's just here and there, maybe with my friends and whatever. I mean, they stress me a lot, you know. But in terms of like other people understanding like situations and everything, I give people the same chances. I'm just like that. That is me. That has always been me, and it will always be me, you know. I think with growing up, like I said, I was a very rebellious child, so I was never given a chance to, like, nobody ever wanted to hear me out, you know. Like, I was always the bad party. And throughout my adulthood, I just felt like I would never want to treat anybody like that. That's just the way it's been. Like, so I give people fair chances. I listen. I'm not judgmental. I'm a good person with a great heart. And so anyway, if you're a person like that and you know that you don't get into things with feelings like my mom, then you can venture into law. But if you are a very sensitive person, you cry, you forget. Because think about it this way, you're going to meet cases, you're going to read very painful cases that sometimes you're just gonna want to stab this person. But what happens if that person is your client, you know? Emotions aside, guys, emotions aside, we just gotta focus on the fourth reason, and my favorite reason, and the reason which I feel like people always lie about, is the fact that I'm doing law for money. Now guys, if you're gonna tell me now that when you're not doing law for money, you're not into law because you know, you want to secure the bag, you are lying. You are lying, and it shows that you belong in this profession because you are a liar. Who in the world wants to study for 4 years, stay up late at night, take all these tests? Do you know constitutional law and how terrible it is? You are telling me you studied constitutional law to say, no, I'm not doing it for the money. Can we be realistic? Historical foundations alongside financial accounting, law of succession, civil procedure, law of delicte, estoppel, to say, wait, no, you're not doing it for the money, those are lies. Everybody does everything for money. If you're saying that you're studying a particular degree for, you know, you want a better future and everything, it means you're doing it for money. So there is no excuse on this one. We're all doing it for the bag. You know, the nice thing about law, which I'm just gonna get into after this, is the fact that it's a very broad field. It doesn't limit you, and there's endless opportunities. You understand? So there's a high chance of you securing the bag. You know, there's a high yes, you must do something because you are passionate about it, but sometimes your passion is not really what's good for you. I just hope you guys know that. Yeah, sometimes I wanted to be a clinical psychologist. I also wanted to be a cabin crew member until my mom sat me down and was like, but yes, you're going to be a cabin crew member until what age? After a certain age, you're going to get kicked out of the panel and new faces are going to come. And then what are you going to eat? Go secure a degree so that you can put it under your sheet and, you know, live your best life after that. And of which back then I felt like she was being a hater, but now it's the truth. You know, do something because it has the chances of it have a stable income. You know, don't do things because hey, you love them and everything. You will not eat your passion. This is South Africa. You need to be very realistic with yourself. You will not eat your passion. Of course, I think when people say that you shouldn't follow something because of money, I just think it's the idea that you shouldn't let money you know, drive you, in a sense that expect it from get-go. Obviously, we all start somewhere. We're all gonna start like very, 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 very low, you know. But eventually, when you put in hard work, I know I'm gonna put so much work. I know myself that I just want to be successful. And what does success mean? Success means me being able to get money so that I can maintain my family. I want 7 kids. They will not eat my passion. That's just me. That is just me. Anyway, like I was saying before, I got deep and, you know, sentimental about money. You know, just I don't like people that lie about money. Just be honest. Money is money. We all want money. Nobody wants to be poor. I don't think you're starting to be poor. But anyway, guys, as I was saying, I think law is a very diverse field in a sense that also it's not limited to one thing. That's the advantage of it. It's a versatile degree, meaning you can do a lot of things. Like you can become an attorney, you can become an advocate, you can become an arbitrator, you can become a legal counsel, you can become a legal assistant, you can become a legal advisor, paralegal. The list, no, okay, not paralegal, I'm lying. A paralegal is just before you can do that with a diploma. But, you know, there's so many fields in law that you can venture into. You can even open your own company, you know. There's a lot that you can do with a law degree. It really doesn't limit you to one scope. That's the nicest thing about it. When people often say, but no, law degrees have no money and everything, but law degrees have no job opportunities and everything, I always feel it's because like they're limiting themselves to wanting to become attorneys and advocates when there's so much you can do with a law degree. Like, this is real talk, guys. I'm a legal advisor for a company, do this and that. A law degree is so broad, you can just fit it into anything. For instance, I feel like I'm a natural born creative. I can one day incorporate a law degree with maybe YouTube and just, you know, do something, maybe fight for, you know, copyrights and whatever. I don't know, we'll see. Pambili. Another important reason for you, well, for me and you to be in law is because you'll be so informed. It'll be also easier for you to advise your loved ones, your siblings, and everyone around you, like literally, and teach them about the law. I mean, for instance, how many people know about that Consumer Protection Act, of which if you drop something in the store, you're not supposed to pay for it? I mean, me, even as a law student, I didn't really know it until I saw something last year. And, you know, such small things, like, it will help even your loved ones to not be manipulated by people, you know. For instance, when my mom was around about my age, she was a helper and she was working for an England guy in town. When he died, he left certain things for my mom, but she never got them. You know, she never got them because when I tell her to tell me what happened, she's like, I never received anything. You know, such injustices. You could help those around you, and I'm still gonna go for that money. We're gonna get that money. Like, we're gonna make sure we get that money. We're definitely gonna get that. Do I see myself growing in the field in the next 10 years? Of course I do. Like, I think I want to be a conveyancer, or what else? I don't think I'm a litigation hand. You know what I mean? I'm gonna cry. I feel like I'm gonna cry in court. But at the same time, I'm always like, you know what? You haven't been in the field yet to know that. I could say I'm afraid of litigation. Next thing, I'm already bodyguard. You know, I have everything. I am, you know, I don't know. But I think I want to venture into conveyance. Constitutional law also is another field I might want to venture into, one day. And also legal research. I think I'm very good with words and research and everything, so that I also might want to do that. I love researching things, really. But anyway, guys, I really think that's the end of my video. And a law degree is something that everybody should aspire to have too. It's a broad field. There's no such thing as it's oversaturated. And I am telling you today to go apply for that degree. And I actually read a very inspiring quote that said, "You are afraid of doing that LLB degree because you are 28. And in 4 years' time, you will be 32. What you don't know is whether you do that degree or not in 2020 or in 2021, in 4 years' time, you will still be 32, you know? So go for it. It doesn't have an age limit. I remember in my first group chat, I was the only young person. I was literally 18 with 45-year-olds. I would meet them at showgrounds, at the parking area, and we would talk and whether you're young or old, law is such a broad field and there is space for literally everyone. I urge you, go and do it. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and I hope you guys will give it a thumbs up and you'll subscribe. See you in my next video.